This is just a quick video that I wanted to do on the blood supply of the equine foot. And this particular illustration, you can see exactly where all the blood supply is. I mean, it's quite a huge supply to the foot. And I was very surprised, how much blood goes into the foot. The red vessels are the arteries and the blue vessels are the veins. So let's correlate that to what I'm actually seeing in the feet as I dissect. This is a parasagittal section of a foot, and it's about 1/2 centimetre wide. I say it's parasagittal because it's not straight through the middle. If you can see, this is where the frog is. So the apex of the frog is probably about here. So this is like the next slice off of the middle. But I was going to prepare this slice to embed in epoxy, but there was so many things in here that I wanted to have a look at, and I thought I'd better do a video on it because it's too good not to. First of all, I can see the way I've done my cut and the way I've actually preserved the sample. You can see the blood vessels are cut off at this point really, really well at the toe. And if you look really carefully, you can see all the little holes down there, which is where the sole corium is, and that's the blood vessels that are supplying the sole. We just have a quick look at this picture again. You can see the blood vessels are actually enveloping the whole of the foot. And so what I'm doing here is I've actually cut them off at right angles, and this is why we're seeing the little holes. And there's also blood vessels going up through here, going up towards the digital cushion. And also through here as well, they've been cut off quite nicely. You can see the little holes here. And I think this was a really good example of actually seeing the vascular supply to the foot. And I don't normally see that because I don't normally prepare my samples for epoxy when I do my videos. They're normally fresh. So I think that this has actually given us a different view of the foot. Now this point here, so this is actually a hole in the P3, which is also known as the coffin bone or the distal phalanx. And that's that end bone at the end of the foot. And this is an actual cavity in that bone for a blood supply to go through. And you can see there, if I actually lift it up, I'm actually putting my probe actually through the blood vessel that runs through there. So that's running round there and round to there. And this blood supply here is called the terminal arch. And this is actually completely normal to have this little hole and to have this little blood supply going through there. And if we go up a little bit higher, we can see that there's a little blood vessel there. So this is the coronary cushion, and there would be a big blood supply through that point there. And I can just about see little holes as well through here where the blood vessels have been cut off. And here's a really good example of a blood vessel. You can see right through there at this point here, which is halfway along P2, which is the short pastern bone. And this part here is called the venous plexus of the coronary cushion. I know that sounds a bit of a big flash name. It basically means a network of blood, a network of veins in that point there. And that's a really important part because this coronary cushion is where those little tubules are produced, and you can actually see where the tubules are produced in this foot quite nicely. Can you see there's a distinct line through there? I'm just going to zoom in. I know I'm digressing again, but when I see things I can't stop. So this is where there's like these little sockets that are in here in the hoof wall, and surrounding those sockets are cells, and it's those cells that produce the tubules. And each of those sockets has a little like a tube dipping into it called a papilla, and the papilla is the thing that actually feeds all of those cells that are in that socket. And also, while I'm here, I can't help myself but show you this. So we know this is the deep digital flexor tendon that runs under the navicular bone and attaches to the coffin bone here. But if you have a look at this little bit here, this is actually a different structure. This is actually a fibrocartilaginous structure just here. and it's different to this. And this little part here, this fibrocartilage, helps with the dissipation of energy and protection of all of these structures here from impact, and also it helps with energy dissipation across the whole foot. And just quickly look, we can see really beautifully the different strands within the digital cushion here. You can see the fatty strands, which are the yellow ones, and then the white ones, which is the fibrocartilage. And you can see those really well through here. They're quite distinctly different. And we want lots of fibrocartilage in our digital cushion for it to do its job properly. Let's have a quick look on the other side and see if there's anything extra here. Yeah, I think, look, you can see those blood vessels there a little bit better up there on P2. I don't think there's any more to really see on this particular view. But I think what it takes home to me is how important the blood supply is to the foot. And that blood supply is the life of the foot. It's going to be feeding all of these structures and taking away all of the rubbish, all of the carbon dioxide and the urea, which are the byproducts of cell respiration and cell metabolism. So the blood supply is absolutely critical for our equine feet to function.